There are three things that I love and know, and if I'm ever put on a stage to speak about either of them, I know I would definitely go off. And in this video, I'm going to talk about one of those things. Hi, I'm V. I'm a full-time remote worker for a law firm that is based in the USA. Over the past year, I've been running a monthly remote work masterclass where I share information with people who are looking to get hired internationally. And in this video, I am sharing some of that information with you at no cost. These are some of the things that even the education system does not even teach us. So please use this information. It's meant to help you find a job, get the job, and keep the job. So first things first, before you even embark on this journey, you're going to need to figure out, are you going to be a freelancer or you want to be full-time employed? I personally do both. I am employed full-time by the law firm that I just spoke about, and I also freelance on the side. So believe me, I am well equipped to have this conversation with you, okay? So if you're freelancing, you are generally not going to be reporting to somebody at a specific time, or you're not going to be showing up or logging in at a specific time. You basically control your working time. You control what time you work. You also control how much money you actually make at the end of the month. Whereas comparing to someone who is full-time employed, you are expected to show up and log in at certain times. You're expected to do certain duties and finish work at a certain time. So you report on your doings to somebody every single day, the same way that you would if you were working on site. So if you are someone who just wants to be in control of how much money you make, you want to control what your working hours are, then freelancing is generally going to be the route that you take. Once you decide to be a freelancer, you're going to need to figure out what kind of services can you actually provide. And there are so many services that people are willing to pay for online. I did say earlier that I freelance, and when I freelance, I am freelancing as a UGC creator, and that's a service that a lot of small businesses are looking to hire for, even big businesses, because I've worked with some big agencies, international agencies, where I create UGC content. So figure out what skills do you actually have, or what skills can you acquire that people are going to pay for. Same as if you're looking to get hired full-time. There are specific skills that will either make you more money than the rest of us, and there are skills that will just make you just another employee like the rest of us. So you really need to sit down with yourself and figure it out. So let's go the freelancer route. You're going to sit down with yourself and figure out, what are the skills that I already have. And I find that normally this helps for people who have been working already. If you've worked, let's say, for the past year or even more than that, every single job that you do, you learn skills in it. So if there are skills that you enjoy, I would personally say you want to offer services for the skills that you enjoy. It helps to do something that you like. And no, I am not speaking from a privileged point of view, because I've had backlash on my TikTok about this sometimes, because people will be like, no, you're at a point of privilege if you're able to choose to do something that you love. But there's two ways to look at this, and there are two ways to go about this. You're either going to do something that you know you love, or something that comes naturally to you. Those are things that don't require too much effort from you. And this is why I create UGC content. I love creating content, and when it comes to working with my camera, for some reason it kind of comes very easy for me to see what angles to kind of put in frame and things like that. So if you figure out what skills you have, what are some of the things that come naturally to you, and what are the things you enjoy doing, after knowing these three, it will be much easier for you to figure out what type of services to provide, and you will most probably avoid just feeling burnt out, or feeling like you're really not getting compensated enough for the services that you're providing. Trust and believe, I used to feel this way when I initially started freelancing, because I was charging way below what I charge now, and I really felt like I was producing amazing work, and this would lead to me not always delivering on time, because I feel like I'm putting in too much work for just peanuts. So really, do the things you love, do something you know you're good at and it's a skill that you already possess, and also charge fairly to you and to the client so that you don't end up feeling like you're providing work at a cost that doesn't really satisfy you. If you're not going the freelancer route, you are obviously going to go the full-time, which is what I do. So when you decide to go full-time as a remote worker, you're also going to sit down and figure out what skills do you have. If you want to do something that you love and enjoy, what skills do you have? What are the things that you enjoy doing, especially in your current job? I am assuming at this point that you're keeping the same career path that you're in. But if you're changing, we are going to talk about that. If you're keeping the same career path, you want to figure out the skills you have acquired so far, the things that you enjoy doing, and you are going to look for jobs that need those type of skills. It's going to be a job that you will enjoy. Otherwise, the other route is you are going to go where the money is, okay? There is nothing wrong with that. If you want to go where the money is, you're generally going to need to do a little bit more research. You're going to figure out what are the high paying skills that you can acquire and what are the high income jobs that are in demand when it comes to remote work. I can say it off the top of my head right now. Anything to do with AI currently, you probably want to get into it, but you can go ahead, do some research on that. It will make the whole job search process much easier. So go and figure that out, and we move on. You have figured out what skills you have, or maybe what skills you don't have. At this point, you don't have skills. You're also worried about the fact that you don't have working experience. Maybe you're a student, maybe you are someone who's never worked, or you're just looking to go a different path. Right? What you're going to do, you're going to look for websites where you can get these high income skills. In some of those websites, you can literally do these things for free online. I personally did do a lot of social media courses, business courses online, some of them at no cost at all. So check out places like Udemy, and I suggest this because I personally got hired because of these free certificates that I got online from these specific platforms. So places like Grow with Google, Udemy, Coursera, Acing, those are good places for you to go and look at and see what type of courses you could actually take yourself. And then if you don't have any working experience, or you're just worried you do have working experience and you're just worried that you don't have any remote experience, I can safely tell you that not every company is looking to hire somebody who already has a remote experience. When I got my first remote job, I did not have any remote working experience. But if you're really worried about it, then it's okay. I got you. Go to the website that's on screen right now, and you are able to volunteer, and while you're volunteering online, you gain remote working experience. All the companies you're going to come across there, they are online. You will do all the work online. Now you know what skills you need, what job you want to apply for based on the skills you already have, or the fact that you've looked up high income skills, high paying and high demand jobs, right? Next thing is going to be for you to just know the general requirements, general skills that you will need in order for you to work remotely. It's all nice, fun and games we make it seem when people are working from home, but it requires quite a lot of discipline, because in this case, well, I actually posted a video on TikTok the other time and people were saying that, oh my God, there are some people who are not disciplined enough to work from home, so that's why everyone should go back to working in the office. And as someone who advocates for remote work, I would never want to see people working in an office. So what you're going to need to learn is to be very disciplined. And I mean disciplined in the sense that you know what time you're supposed to be starting work. Even if you're a freelancer, you have to actually set aside time for you to get your work done, and in order for you to actually deliver it in a timely manner. So you're going to need to know the times you log in, the times you have to show up for meetings, whether it's internally or meetings with clients if you are someone who's dealing with external clients. And also discipline comes in the form of not working from your bed. This is something that comes up a lot, especially when I have like my one-on-one consultations with people. Yeah, you can work from a bed, but the best thing you could do for yourself is to actually get a space where you can work from. And I can understand for first-time remote workers, if you're coming out of university or you're someone who just hasn't been working, it might be difficult to be able to put a place where you work from together. But you could literally use your dining room table for like a first month until you can get something better. So discipline in the sense that you do not work from your bed, you don't work from your couch, you make sure you show up for meetings, for clients on time. And you also need to be a little bit tech savvy. You really don't need to be a guru or a pro. I am not, okay, I can tell you. I just love tech, but I am not a tech guru. But you just need to know the basics of it, because most of your work is going to be online. You're literally just going to be that person who is always on their laptop. So know how to do like basic troubleshooting, know how to use basic communication tools. You're not going to have your IT guys ready to always attend to you. So the little bit you know to do on your own, the better. And also you really need to rely on Google and rely on AI to get answers to certain things that you might not be able to get answers to right there and then. So you really also need to be a resourceful person. And if you have all those skills on lock, then baby, you are on your way to working remotely. At this point, we know exactly what we want to do. We've got the skills and we've got the basic remote working skills. We want to know how to ace these interviews, okay? So when it comes to interviews, I am the queen of interviews. Yes, it's self-proclaimed, but girl, I am. Just take my word for it. And take my word because I have not ever, since I started working, that's over a decade ago, I have not ever attended an interview and failed. And I mean, I have not ever attended an interview and not gotten a job. And people wonder, like, don't you apply for a lot of jobs? No, I don't. There is a system to how I go after the jobs that I would like to get, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in another video. But here is what I personally do in order for me to pass these interviews, and some of these things I did do in order for me to secure this specific position that I have. And just to put it out there, this is actually my second remote job. Yeah, we'll talk about the very first one someday. But for now, let's focus on the one that we're doing right now. So let's say you have gone through the whole process of applications and everything, and now you're at a point where you are asked for an interview. Some of the things that can help you in your interview, I always say it's really good for you to be able to articulate yourself. And I know it's not all of us who can do this, but it's something that can be learned. So this is what you want to do. Make sure you over prepare. If you know you're not good at something, the best way you can give yourself a chance is to over prepare. And in over preparing, you want to do research before you show up for that interview. You're going to research that position that you applied for, research some people who work there, research the company, know as much as you feel you need to, so that when you get into that interview and you show up on that Zoom or Teams, wherever this interview is taking place, when you show up, you know that you're going to be able to speak things that make sense and be well and properly articulated. So you do research. How exactly did I personally do it for this specific job that I have? I was hired through an agency. So first of all, I had to go through the whole interviews with the agency or whatever, but we're going to talk about the interview that I then had with this company. After I went through that whole process with the agency, also if you want to know about the whole process, let me know. When I was told that, you know what, this company wants to hire you, what I did is I was only given their website. I went onto their website, I looked through the website, only for me to kind of get an idea of what exactly do they do. I knew it was a law firm, but I also wanted to get to see the people who work there. How exactly am I going to fit? And it also helps you when you do this, it also helps you come up with questions for you to ask in your interview. So I went onto their website, I looked through their website, and most websites will have their employees and probably their names and their pictures as well. Some companies have this, some don't, but lucky enough this company did, and it's not a very big company, so it was easy for me to kind of also narrow it down to find out who might actually interview me. So as much as I did not get 100%, some of the people that I literally just looked and I was like, probably you will be part of my interview, I went ahead and I looked them up on LinkedIn. So do not sleep on LinkedIn. There's so many people I know who are scared of LinkedIn. I used to be one of those people, but please don't be scared of it. Go and stalk people on LinkedIn in a good way, not in a creepy way. Do not stalk people in a creepy way. This is what I personally did, and you might be scared to say, oh my god, if I go and look someone up on LinkedIn, when they get a notification, yeah, they will, and they're probably going to be flattered. Okay, they might feel somehow, but most times I can assure you people are probably going to feel like, oh, this person is actually pretty invested to work with us, that they are looking us up and they're doing research. That's what I did. I went on everyone's LinkedIn, I looked them up on like social media as well, like Instagram, Facebook. I looked them up, and what this helps me do is, once I look through someone's profile, whether be it LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, whatever I can find, I can get to know them on a human level. It helps me understand that this person is literally human like me, because there's this feeling of interviews. People walk into interviews feeling like this person might be superior, or you feel like you're at a disadvantage of some sort and you're trying to impress and things like that. And I can safely tell you that every single time I've walked into an interview or I've sat in front of my laptop for an interview, I do not look at that person who's interviewing me or that person on the other side as though they are higher up than me, because at the end of the day, anyone who's interviewing you, they have seen that there's something that you could add to their company, and you also need to look at the interview that way. You need to figure out, do they also have value that they can also add in your life as you work for them. Also, when I look people up, I'm looking for points of connection, points of interest that might, link us together. And this just generally helps me with answering my questions when I go for an interview. If I'm asked questions, I am a talker. I'm sure by now I've been talking for I don't know how many minutes, but I'm sure you can tell I am a talker. I talk. Once I get to know somebody in our interview, we get to know each other. So I'm trying to create points of connection. One example I can give is that one of the people who interviewed me, they had posted about suits, and obviously they work in law, in the legal field, and I just happen to love suits. There's a question they asked me in my interview, and I managed to just sneak in the whole suits things in there, and we laughed about it. So that's what you need to learn. Create points of connection with people, and the only way you're going to do that is if you actually go and do your research on these people, on these companies, and always find a way to kind of link yourself to them so that they see you as someone they can relate to, and you also see them as people that you can relate to. That's one tip I can give you for interviews, and it has helped me thus far, so I don't think it would let anybody else down. Let me know what you think about that. That was an interview for a full-time position. When it comes to freelancing, when you're onboarding clients, one tip I can give you: you don't ever sign up a client who tries to negotiate your prices from the get-go. I have done this because I was at a point of like, you know what, I need some money. I'm a freelancer. I don't care. We'll just work. You will reduce your price, or maybe you might not even reduce your price. You keep it that way. I'm trying to paint a picture for you here. If someone has tried to negotiate your price before you sign them on, you are going to have problems with that person down the line. They are going to expect you to go above and beyond, because to them your price is too high. So whatever you have stipulated that is your deliverable, they are going to always try to push you to do more, because according to them, because your price is that high, you should be doing more work for them. So anyone who tries to negotiate, that's my rule of thumb. You try to negotiate your price, I will not work with you, because I've dealt with this before and I'm just not in a place where I would like to do that again. We have talked about all the skills, the high paying jobs, we've practiced our interviews. When you finally do then get the job, the last thing you need to do is to actually make sure you keep the job. And some of the ways that you're going to keep your job, again, things that I personally do, I actually ask for reviews on my own. I did note and tell you guys that I was hired through an agency, but one of the things I do, remember we also talked about being proactive. That's a really good trait if you want to work remotely. I know my agency will seek reviews from my employer, but here and there, every 3 months, every 6 months, I try and ask for a review to see how my work is. Are they impressed with my work and things like that? And that also helps me when I want to negotiate my salary increase. And then other things that help me just do my job, you know, like the girl that I am, just do my job to the best of my ability, to make sure I'm efficient, to make sure I'm productive, and all that good stuff. There are apps and systems that I personally use, and some of them will be, number one is Grammarly. Guys, I do not know what I would do without Grammarly. I honestly don't, because it helps you with your spellings, your punctuation, your grammar. Sometimes it even filters the words that you use so that it makes it sound more businessy. Trust me, you will love Grammarly. So that's one of them. And then when it comes to like time tracking, you will find that if you get hired by not much a big company, let's say an SME, very small companies that are starting out, processes and systems are not well thought out yet, because it's a company that's just starting out. So you are going to need to find ways to make things work. So this is going to apply whether you're freelancing or you're working full-time remote. You're going to need to be tracking the work that you're doing. So an app called Clockify, it's also a system that you can use on the web. I have talked about Clockify quite a bit, and it really helps you kind of keep track of your times that you're spending on certain projects. It helps you calculate the amount of money to then charge your clients based on the time you've worked and all that good stuff. And then to also track your tasks on a daily basis. I used an app called Todoist, and it does a pretty perfect job. And then for communication, you obviously need to know how to use your Zoom, your Teams, and also Loom. Loom is a pretty cool app that I don't quite use a lot now, but I find that it used to make easy for me at my first remote job. It used to really help me if I wanted to like spread information to my team members, and I would just create a little video to show them how to navigate a certain document or something, and I would just disseminate it to them. So yeah, those are the apps that will help you be more effective while you're working, more efficient, and be productive and be a valuable member of the team. At this point, you generally know how to look for a job, how to get the job, and how to keep the job. And if you want to know the basic requirements for almost every remote job out there, then please watch the next video, and good luck.